dear students, this is Dr. Aisha Nazuk here. Welcome back to our channel Rao Hub, which if you are a regular viewer of the channel, you are well aware of the fact that we have playlists on statistics, on probability theory, econometrics, and we have some interesting playlists on human behavior, positivity, and by the way, an interesting playlist in which I have a pseudonym of Rangdi Baji. So that is an exposition of my skills on humor. We have playlist on software help. So this is the reason the name of the channel is Hub. So it's a holistic learning and entertainment place for a variety of or diverse type of audience. So you are more than welcome. But just in case if you get you feel distracted by different type of contents or the playlist available on the channel, no problem, you can just click on a playlist menu. I hope that you already know how to choose playlist on a channel, but just let me guide you quickly. For example, if this is my channel, it will take a minute. So I can click on playlist. So you can remain in a particular type of a playlist. For example, if you are interested in GRE help or different type of examination help, you can remain in this playlist. If you are looking for software help, here is a playlist for you. And there are some interesting playlists. As I said, this particular playlist humor is in my mother tongue, which is Rajputi. But anyhow, if you're not interested in humor, all the rest of the playlists are fully in English. This is the only playlist humor which is in my mother tongue. All other playlists are in English, so you can take benefit from the different type of content here. So let me correct you. This humor and this Rifa University lectures, these are not fully in English. All other playlists are fully in English, right? So you can take help from software help fully in English, econometrics lectures fully in English, and so on. So that's a quick tour of the channel. Coming to the contents of today's video, we will be discussing how to find combined arithmetic mean. If you are, by the way, you want to get yourself acquainted with the basic concepts of arithmetic mean and the basics of statistics, you can watch the earlier videos on statistics lecture. So in today's video we are going to find combined arithmetic mean of variables that are linked with each other, arithmetic mean of group data, and the case of missing frequencies. So these are a couple of things that we are going to discuss in today's video. So without further ado, let's start today's lecture. So as I said, we are going to start with combined arithmetic mean. Just a minute, let me pardon this scrolling. Anyhow, okay, so let's discuss the case of combined arithmetic mean. So let's say we have two data sets. We can have more than two data sets as well. So currently I am discussing the case of two data sets. Let's say we have two data sets and the actual data sets are unknown. For example, what the information I have is, I have two data sets and I have their arithmetic mean available, and I also know the number of observation in each data set. So I don't know what are the actual observation in the first data and the actual observation in the second data, but still I'll be able to find the arithmetic mean of overall data had I combined data set 1 and 2. So just for the sake of clarity, why are we interested in finding combined arithmetic mean? So as a student of, let's say, economics, you consider that, so just a scenario based example. For example, we have, instead of thinking of these as data 1 and 2, you can consider that this is for example average score in a quiz. If you have that there are 50 students in a class and on average they have scored 27.3 marks in a quiz. let's say in the other class there are 20 students, and in the same type of a quiz they have scored 29.4 marks. So as a teacher you are interested to, let's say, what is the overall average score in both the sections had I combined these 70 students, right? So for example, the teacher is interested to know that overall what is the average score of these 70 students. So I can combine the arithmetic mean in these two data sets, and how I can combine is, you see, I don't have information on the individual marks of each student. I don't know the individual marks of 50 students. I just know the average marks. Still I'll be able to calculate the arithmetic mean of overall 70 students, or the combined average. So how I can do that is, by definition, you know that the way we have defined arithmetic mean, it is equal to sum of values divided by number of values, right? Sum of values or simply you can say sum of data values. Let me write here, right? So this is the definition of arithmetic mean. So it's just a little bit of rearrangement of this equation. So you know that arithmetic mean multiplied by number of values in the data, just a minute. So arithmetic mean multiplied by number of values in the data is equal to sum of data values, right? So that means if I multiply the average by the number of values, I'll get the sum of data values. In other words, the example where we were considering that this is a data set of average marks in a quiz. So if I multiply 27.3 by 50, I will get the sum of marks. That is, if I add the marks of all 50 students, how I can get that? 27.3 multiplied by 50. Similarly, in the second data, if I multiply 20 by 29.4, I'll get the sum of the marks in second data. So this is exactly, it is written here that if I have to find combined arithmetic mean, it should be equal to sum of values in combined data divided by number of observations in combined data. So number of observations is straightforward, that if we have two data sets, then the number of observations are simply first number of observation plus second number of observation. So that is 50 plus 20, or in general I can write n1 plus n2, right? So the denominator is very straightforward. Simply add the number of observations, so n1 plus n2. The numerator is simply sum of values in the combined data. And how I can do that? I can simply find the sum in the first data by multiplying 50 with 27.3, and I can find the sum in the second data by multiplying 20 with 29.4. So now that if I know the sum of values in the first data and sum of values in the second data, so I can add the two sums to get the combined sum. So this is the reason what we have written here is that the combined sum is simply equal to n1 multiplied by x1 bar. So don't get confused by the notation. This simply means number of observations in the first data multiplied by its arithmetic mean plus number of observations in the second data multiplied by its arithmetic mean. So this is the combined sum. So in the current example, if I add the marks of all 70 students, the answer is 1953, right? So the combined arithmetic mean is simply given by 1953 divided by 70. So in general, if we have to find combined mean, we can simply multiply the number of observations with their respective means and then keep on continuing. And because if we have just two data set here, so I have written only till n2. So if we have got more data set, I would have continued. So let's say if we have, let's say, 4 data sets, or okay, let's limit to 3 data sets. So let's say if we have 3 data sets, I can simply write n1 x1 bar. So let me apply a bar here. Yeah, okay, n1 x1 bar plus n2 and then I'll by the way, let me copy it and then I can change it maybe. Yeah. So if we have 3 data sets, I have to continue till n3 or the third data, and the denominator is simple. It's simply n1 plus n2 plus n3, right? So this is how I can find combined mean for 3 data sets, and in general I can continue the expression if we have more than 3 data sets. So this is the one of the advantage of arithmetic mean is that we can easily find the combined arithmetic mean of 2 or more data sets. Once you get exposure of more type of averages in future, in the upcoming videos, once you get yourself acquainted with, let's say, median, mode and other type of averages, you will see that it's not always possible to find all type of averages, all type of combined average. For example, we can't find you see a combined median of 2 or more data sets. Anyhow, if you are not able to connect to that concept, doesn't matter. Once you watch the videos, upcoming videos on median and mode, you will be better able to understand that it's not always possible to find combined average of all type. I mean, combined arithmetic mean, which is one type of an average, combined arithmetic mean is possible, but combined median is, for example, not possible. So this is one of the advantage of arithmetic mean, that we can find combined arithmetic mean in 2 or more data sets. So as we said, the next concept that we are going to do is arithmetic mean of variables that are linked with each other. So let's say we have a new variable which is defined by using a linear equation. Now what is a linear equation? In simple possible word, we don't have any square or cube here on the variables. If you see that y has a power of 1, x has a power of 1. Although we can go into those debates as well, that if we make a plot of this equation, it will be a straight line, but doesn't matter. Simplest possible definition that the power of the variables is 1. So you see that a new variable is defined. Let's say y is the new variable and x is the existing variable, and a and b are any constant, right? A could be, let's say, 2, b could be 0.3 or any number. So if I know the data, if I know the arithmetic mean of x, or I know the data on x, then without generating the data of y, I can find the arithmetic mean of y. Let me reiterate. What am I saying is, by using the data of x or by using the arithmetic mean of x, I can find the arithmetic mean of a new variable y. And how I can find is the arithmetic mean of y bar. By now you know that the notation y bar means whenever I have a bar on a variable, that means it's arithmetic mean. So y bar, that is the average of y, is equal to a plus minus b times x bar. So of course a and b will be some constants and they will be given. So let's do one example. Suppose that carbon emission of China is represented by y, and let's say x is the total industrial production. You know very well that the total industrial production is directly linked with the carbon emission. So let's say some of the researchers who are expert in, let's say, environmental aspects and of industrial production, they have given you this expression that carbon emission is equal to 90 plus 3 times industrial production. Now let's have an intuitive interpretation of this equation. What is this 90? This may be, you see, even if x is 0, if I put x is equal to 0 in this equation, y is equal to 90. That means if you don't even produce anything, still the carbon emission of China are 90. I'm not going into those debates why, if we aren't producing anything, why still there are carbon emissions. You can explore literature on it, and I hope that you are well aware of the fact that even if you are not producing anything, sometimes there are unavoidable type of emissions that are generated in the atmosphere at any cost. So 90 is, it may be the regional average carbon emission, or you may say that even if you don't produce anything, still you are emitting 90 units of, let's say, carbon emission in the atmosphere. And if x is equal to 1, then you will be emitting 90 plus 3 into 1, that will be 93. So you will be emitting 93 units of carbon. Anyhow, we are not going into further details of the expression. The point over here is, even if I have data on x, for example, I have data only on total industrial production of China, suppose. So what I can do, I can use the data of total industrial production, and I can find the average carbon emission in China by simply using this expression. So how I can do that? For example, if we have data on total industrial production from the last 4 years, let's say this is the data, so I can easily find the average of this, let's say IP is the abbreviations for total industrial production. So if the average total industrial production is, simply add all the values divided by 4. So 82.5 is the average industrial production. Now I'm going to use the average industrial production, and I'll switch this value here, and I'll be able to find the average carbon emission for China. So how I can do that? Simply switch in the value in the equation, and you can find that the average carbon emission is 337.5. And by the way, I have used hypothetical data in the example. Anyhow, so this is the advantage that we can find the arithmetic mean of new variables by using old data on old variables, right? You can also generate full data on y values. And how you can do that? Instead of using this expression, later on what you can do is, you can generate data on y. For example, the equation is 90 plus 3 times x. This is the equation, right? 90 plus 3 times x. So you can generate first value of y by, let me take a screenshot and then explain better. Just a minute. So this is the data, and my expression was y is equal to 90 plus 3 times x, right? So what I can do is, the first value of y will be y, maybe let me write y1, or doesn't matter. So first value of y will be 90 plus 3 times 70, because the first value of x industrial production is 70. Similarly, the second value of y, let's say y, if I call it y2, so 90 plus 3 times 75, because the second value of industrial production is 75. So you can later on generate full data on y and then calculate the average of y, and you will see that the results will be same even if I use the equation or I generate full data sets. So this is just for the point of view of sort of a verification, that if you want to verify or from an exam point of view, the instructor has, let's say, said you use the equation and then verify your results by generating full data set, so that you can do as well. Okay, so let's continue. The last topic that we have to discuss for today is the arithmetic mean for group data. So far we have been dealing with the cases where we have raw data and we simply add all those observations and we find arithmetic mean. Now let's say if we have a group data, right? Let me introduce a table here. Just a minute. So let's say we have this data here and we have some classes and their frequencies are given. So let's say the first class is 0 to 5 and the next class is, let's say, 6 to 11 and then 12 to 17. So let's say these are the classes and frequencies are given. Now I have to find arithmetic mean of this data. By definition, arithmetic mean is equal to sum divided by number of values in the data, right? Now number of values is straightforward, that you know that number of values is simply sum of frequencies. Now how to find sum of values, because I don't have actual values available here. So what I can do is, I know that in the actual data there are some values that are between 0 to 5 and there are 23 such values. So how I can estimate, right, how I can estimate the sum of values in this data, right? I want to estimate the sum of values in each interval. So how I can estimate? Instead of, because I can't multiply the interval with the frequency, so let's find a representative value in each interval and let's call it midpoint. And how we find midpoint? Simply add these two values and divide by 2. So 5 divided by 2, so let me write, this is 0 plus 5 divided by 2, right? So which comes out to be 2.5. Similarly, in the second interval, 6 plus 11 divided by 2, right? 6 plus 11 divided by 2, so that is 8.5. Then we have 12 plus 17 divided by 2, which is 14.5. So now I know that instead of saying that there are some values between 0 to 5 and they are repeated 23 times, I am saying that I can develop an approximation. Instead of saying that there are values in the interval, I am saying that approximately I can say 2.5 is repeated 23 times. Of course, this is an approximation. In the actual data, we don't know what were the actual values that are clubbed in this class. So maybe the actual values are, suppose, 0, 1, 3 and different types of combination, and there are 23 such values. So let me be more clear. For example, these may be actual values and so on, let's say up till 5, and these are, let's say, 23 values. So there may be different type of combination possible. This is only one combination that I have written. So there may be different type of combinations. So what I have actually done is, I have replaced each value by its estimate 2.5. Why? Because I don't have actual data available. So of course this is going to introduce some sort of an error, and this is exactly what we call the concept of grouping error. Why? What is grouping error? This is an error introduced due to use of midpoints instead of actual data values. And why are we bound to do so? Because raw data is not available, right? For example, you are using some summary reports from a Government of Pakistan document and you don't have raw data. For example, if this is the data on salaries of individuals, so you don't know the actual salaries of each and every individual, but you know that there are 23 such people in the first salary group and so on. So grouping error is an error introduced due to the use of midpoints instead of actual data. Now I have estimated that 2.5 is repeated 23 times. So you can consider that if I have to find sum of values in this interval, I can write that 2.5 is repeated 23 times. In other words, this is equal to 2.5 multiplied by 23. So what we have to do is, sum in each interval is equal to frequency multiplied by the midpoint, and let's call the midpoint equal to x, right? Let's call the midpoint as x. So we are going to multiply each frequency with each midpoint. So 2.5 multiplied by 23 and then 25 multiplied by 8.5. Similarly 10 multiplied by 14.5. So this is going to be 145, and let me calculate this one for you. So just a minute, let me use my calculator. 8.5 multiplied by 25 is equal to 212.5, and similarly 2.5 multiplied by 23, let me use the calculator. This is equal to 57.5. So now I know that the sum of values in each interval I have estimated. So now if I have to find the sum in the entire data, that is simply equal to sum of fx column. So sum of fx column, simply add all these observations, 57.5 plus 212.5 plus 145. So I am just adding all these answers. 57.5 plus 212.5 plus 145, and the result is 415. So now I know that an approximation of sum of values in group data, this is equal to sum of fx. So 415 divided by number of observation, which is sum of frequencies. So sum of frequencies, you can see, simply add all the frequencies, 23 plus 25 plus 10. So these are 58. So you divide 415 by 58, and the answer will be, let me compute it for you, 415 divided by 48, this is equal to 7.16 approx. Right? So this is how we can find arithmetic mean in a group data set. This is exactly in the form of notation I have written that x bar, that is arithmetic mean of x in group data, is sum of fx, that is each individual frequency is multiplied by the midpoint, and then after multiplying these we take the sum and divide by sum of frequencies. So this was about finding arithmetic mean of group data. By the way, if your data is sample, we write it x bar, and if your data is population, we can use the notation, this Greek symbol, which is read as mu. So there is a standard convention that whenever a Greek symbol is used, that means that the data is for population. Doesn't matter whichever the data type, the formula is simple. Just multiply each frequency with each midpoint and divide by sum of frequencies. So this was about finding arithmetic mean in a group data set. So I hope that you have liked the video, and you will provide your important comments and feedback in the comment section. Please subscribe to the channel, share the videos in your social circles, and so that maximum people can take advantage, specifically during these times of pandemic. The importance of video based lectures is even more highlighted. So thank you once again, and keep watching other videos. See you in our next video.